paper in scholarly journals for publications, sponsored by JHERF, World Virtual Conference Forum, World's Federation of Science and Technology, International Research Guide Federation, Academic Research Guide Association, EDU Academic INSC. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, all of you. Now, first, I request to Professor Dr. Dr. Ashok Kumarji Gupta sir, CMD RFI, speak some words of blessings and appreciation on this occasion. Dr. Ashok Kumarji Gupta sir.
Hello,
Hello, sir.
am
Good
I
evening, sir.
audible? Good evening.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. You are audible.
Hello everyone, this is Professor Dr. Ashok Kumar Gupta, CMD RFI. I feel honored to be invited to this webinar on guidelines for publishing research papers in scholarly journals for publication. This is organized by Research Foundation of India and RFI-CARE, and it is sponsored by JHERF, International Conference, Edu Academy INC, World Virtual Conference Forum, World Federation of Science and Technology, ARGM. The webinar aims to provide the most complete and reliable source of information on the recent advancements in the field of publishing research papers in scholarly journals. The emphasis will be given on publishing quality articles, making them available to the researchers and young scholars worldwide without any restriction. The webinar on publishing research papers in a scholarly journal covers a broad range of topics in this field. The main steps by journal publishers in publication process generally includes as submit your research paper title with manuscript and author details which you want to get published on UGC CARE list journals or Corpus Index journals or any reputed journal. Review paper and assign journal. Process payment online. Make paper ready to publish and publish paper. The National Education Policy 2020 has given a clear call for holistic value-based education to prepare our youth and develop our nation. Education is fundamental for achieving full human potential, developing an equitable and just society, and promoting national development. Now it is my privilege and honor to welcome all the dignitaries, especially subject expert Dr. Deepak Agrawal, Director, our beloved Dr. Saurabh Kumar Jain, Chairman and CEO, Dr. Ajay Jain, National Coordinator, Dr. Priyadarshini Agnihotri, President, Third Board. I'm thankful to Dr. Indra Dikshit and the entire team RFI and organizing institutes. I'm thankful to all who have given the input in this webinar and all participants who made this webinar a success. For more information, you may contact through our official mail info@researchfoundationofindia.com. And for such other events, you can visit our website www.researchfoundationofindia.com. Thanks for your patience. Thank you again. Over to you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. Your precious words always guiding us. Thank you. Thank you so much, sir. I also welcome Dr. Saurabhji Jain, sir, Dr. Ajayji Jain, sir, Dr. Priyadarshini Agnihotri, ma'am, Dr. Manish Dubey, sir, and all respected and my dear colleagues of RFI family are all RFI officers. Now I feel very grateful to introduce our today subject expert, Dr. Deepak Agrawal, sir. Welcome, sir.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Dr. Deepak Agrawal, sir, the past 2 years, decades, serving in the field of education, guiding and mentoring the students at the academic fraternities to enhance learning and mental abilities. Sir, PhD in Management Finance, along with Masters in Commerce and Management, MBA, followed by PGDFM and PGDHRM. Sir has total 41 research paper published. Out of it, 4 are published in international journals, 25 in Scopus, UGC approved journal, with the remaining were presented published in national and international conferences. Sir is training are various MDPs, FDPs, workshop, conference. Sir is also executive member in RFI Indore chapter, President RFI Telangana State chapter, member Circular Economy Club, Boston, USA, life member Youth Hostel in of India. Sir, RFI family welcomes you, and I request to Dr. Agrawal sir, please start this today's session.
Thank you so
Please
much.
come, sir.
Thank you so much. Am I audible?
Yes, sir, you are audible.
Thank you so much
Yes, sir.
for introducing myself once again. My warm welcomes to all the dignitaries. My special thanks to our mentor, Dr. Ashok Gupta sir, for always inspiring and motivating the whole team of RFI. My special thanks to Saurabh Jain sir, Ajay Jain sir, and all the members of RFI. And once again, a special thanks to all the dignitaries who are present today to attend the session on the how to get the research paper published in the scholarly journals. So, in a series of workshop we are conducting related to getting the paper, how to develop a paper, then to publish, plagiarism, how to overcome such type of problems. So, in continuation to that, in today's is a second session which focus related to getting the paper published in a scholarly journals. Now, once again, we have a big question in mind that how to get published, number one, in a good quality based journal, and second, that is what are the norms to be followed while publishing our papers in scholarly journals. Please allow me 1 minute. Let me share my presentation. Can you see my slide?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. Once again, I need to always move back to the list of slides, and then so again we are going to present it. This is some technical errors due to don't know what is the reason behind it, but anyhow. So this is a brief about the sessions, which are session what we are going to cover up today. Now, just before moving further, let us have a question in mind that what are the motives behind publishing the research paper. Second, that we need to select the appropriate journal for the publication. What should be the appropriate journal? Then we need to make a comparison, a brief comparison between the ISS and ISBN. Always it is confusing that where we should move ahead. Then again, for getting a quality-based journal, there are some criteria to be met upon, and amongst them, one is the journal citation reports. We will go through the other indicators required for it. Again, we will measure the author's research impact, just like the other journals is to be measured upon. Finally, we'll move ahead with the UGC guidelines. So before continuing, let me share a brief quiz or a question amongst you. Please go through the chat box and try to attempt the question. This is a small quiz for everyone. Everyone can participate. Near about 30 seconds are been assigned for it. I hope you can access this quiz. It's in the form of Google Forms. Can you access? Please go to the chat box. There is a link provided. Try to access this link. I have received response of 2 participants only. My simple question is why you want to get your research paper published? What are the motives behind it? Okay. In the meantime, you are submitting your response. Let us move ahead. So these are the finally two basic objectives to get the research paper published. I will share the results after some time. I've received response from 5 participants only, but anyhow, no problem. I will share you the response sheet later on. So once again, while we move towards the presentation, can you see my PPT once again?
No, sir.
Yes, now you can see it. So what are the objectives behind publishing the research paper? Basically, we classify into two broad categories.
बस इसमें एक बार ये बताना इसको क्या बोलते हैं? Insoluble.
Please mute your mic. The first is the theoretical object, that is to share the research findings and discoveries amongst others, maybe your peer group or maybe towards the society, which provides a new findings, outcomes, which is beneficial for the upliftment of the society. So this is the one of the reason for publishing the research paper. Second is practical approach, which includes the basic features like to grab the funding opportunities. A good quality research papers may provide you the funding from the various agencies so that you can work later on to produce more meaningful results or maybe the outcomes which are again beneficial for the betterment of the society. So this is one of the practical aspects for publishing a research paper. Second, definitely we need to publish research papers in order to have a career advancement. If you want to have a promotion, increment, or even if you want to change a job, so then again certain requirements are there to get your paper published. Just like to the present scenario, it is mandate to get a paper published either through Scopus based or the UGC approved based journals. Third, definitely it provides a recognition amongst our peer groups. A quality paper will create your repo in the market, and definitely you may be recognized for your quality work. I already discussed that it has been mandated by the various authorities like UGC, AICT, where we need to get a paper published in order to move for your career advancements. Again, it is necessary in order to get the award of PhD degree, MPhil, and other type of qualifications. Not necessarily the publication of the research paper is, do you think, only meant for the teachers? The answer is not. At the same time, it is required for the students to get the paperwork published. It can be a joint effort. A quality publication can come up with a tie-up between the faculty and the students. This will enhance better opportunities for the development of the paper. We commonly have a single thought in our mind that we need to follow the specific procedure of publication or getting a paper, preparing a paper, what we have discussed in the first session of these workshops. That standard format, that is abstract, then introduction, defining methodology, objectives, then results, finding, discussions, conclusion, and all of these things. This is a standardized format we used to follow, but there can be other types of publications. So which type of journal articles can be there? It can be in the form of original research, which is commonly we people are doing. It may be in the form of research notes. It can be review articles. We are going to discuss a lot in the third step of this workshop, that is on the 28th of the Feb. Review articles. Then the papers can be in the form of short reports. It can be in the form of case studies. Again, a case study can be a very good source of the findings if you have gone in-depth study related to any situation or the condition, and that can be published in the form of case studies. Normally in India, any case study published in the European journals is having more weightage as compared to other countries. So nothing like that. Even you can start your publication, you can studies to be published in the national journals who used to publish according. Then the journal articles can also be in the form of methodologies, or you can say in the form of methods. So once again, moving further, let me share you one more quiz or a link. Let's see how and what you respond. This is again a link I have shared to you. Again, you have 30 seconds to respond to this question. Please take your time. Ten responses received till now. 11. Okay. Let me move back to my presentation. Hopefully, almost all have responded. So, preference over general selection. Now, most have already responded. What will be your preference toward general selection? Would you like to go with the international publication, or would you like to go with the national publication? Both the systems have their own pros and cons. When we move towards the international journal, they have their own defined structure, they have own defined norms, and we need to strictly follow those norms. So it may be recommended, or even it may not be recommended for the amateurs to get involved in the international journals. But if your work is quality wise enough, good enough, so definitely you should move for the international publications. So just when we're going to discuss the selection amongst the international journals and national journals. Okay, next slide. Why we need to get our publication in the international journals? These are the some of the few reasons behind it. Number one, definitely it creates a good reputation in the academic world. A quality based journal having a global repo, and once it is published in the international journal, it creates a very good repo in your academic fraternity. Secondly, these publications are available globally. They are distributed globally. So in those cases, it provides a global fame to us. You may be recognized in the number of countries around the globe. So that provides definitely a better outcome to your results. Definitely, it provides a chance or approach to the large audience once again throughout the world. It helps in improving our own index. Regarding index, we will discuss in the later part of the slide. Your work is highly visible. Definitely, all comments, recommendation should always be welcome, so that it provides more improvement regarding your work. And foremost and above all, it creates an international citations. So these are some of the reasons we need to move towards the international journals. May be possible that these international journals might not having listings under as per the UGC norms, but don't worry. That is a different criteria to be maintained upon. And here we need to get paper published in order to share our work to the audience throughout the world. Second, why we need to publish our papers towards the national journals? So the basic advantage, like first one, that is the language. We are very comfortable in our own regional language. Just like English is the most common language used throughout the world. But being an Indian may or particularly belongs to the Hindi belt, we may not be so comfortable in developing the paper in English language. So in that case, we will very helpful. We will be very comfortable in developing the paper in our local language, but may not have the international repo because they are going to prefer either in English or in their own native language. So national journals provides us a platform to get our published papers get published in our own regional language, whatever is your tongue, mother tongue, or maybe any other tongue. Secondly, national journals provides more convenience in writing. We are more familiar. What are the requirements? We are more familiar towards the flow pattern of writing the papers. Just like please allow me to share one element. Like once we go with the international publications, while we are developing a literature review, they normally do not follow the literature review in the chronological order. Means it has not been prepared in terms of the year. Okay. While as it's a normal trend in India, when we are developing a paper, the literature review is in the chronological order. It may not necessarily require the happenings which is in today's environment or today's time may always be an advance to the previous happenings. So here the national journals may restrict us. Some of the good things may be left behind because it is not in as per the chronological order. So this thing has been taken, it has been removed or it has been taken care in with the international journals. Third, while publishing the papers in national journals, you may get immediate feedback because most of us are interconnected somehow with some type of communications, maybe through emails, maybe through the feedback form which has been published with along with the of your publications. It provides a better acknowledgement, which may be a point may not you may receive in terms of the international journals. Means recognition may not be so much in terms of international journals where it's compared to the national journals. Then it may provide the better citation options once you go with the national journals. Yes, there is a difference between here you will get the international citations which is throughout the world. Here you are getting the citations which has been normally published within a country only. You can, for more details, you can refer this slide also to this website. So again, moving back to this slide, we need to decide first that what is our option, where we want to get our paper published. Either it is international journal or secondly, it may be a national journal. Now moving ahead, once we have decided, so now it's a time to quest or to search for the appropriate journal. So how we can move ahead? You can simply either go through the Google, search for the journals, or there are the various other options available that we are going to discuss in the later slides, which is going to help us to identify the respective journals. So to the broad extent, first identify the various journals as per your choice. Just like for me, I want to get my paper published in some of the management journal, maybe national or international. I search for it. Once I have searched for the management journal, let us move towards the next step, and that is the area specific top journal. Again, for me, the area is finance. So I will again locate for such type of journals which are predominantly publishing the finance paper. Even you can move towards the multidisciplinary journals. Multidisciplinary journals are those journals which publish the papers to the various domains, to the various areas. It may be from humanities, management, science, and all of it. But definitely the weightage to the multidisciplinary journal is far less as compared to your specific journal. Now, once again, I have selected one of the finance journal. I can subdivide the work in the form of sub area or maybe specific journals. If it is like that, you can sub-classify them and just try to locate particular. Just like in my finance, I am looking for a publication which has been focusing solely on capital market. So in that case, I will search for the capital market based journals. So this is how you can select the one of the best journal. This will help you a lot. Now, types of journals, classification of journals. The very first and the common one, it is the open access journals. Directory of open access journal is known as DOAJ. Open access journals are those journals which are.
Site is not.
Oh, okay,
green.
okay. Sorry. Yeah. I think now it's visible.
It's okay, sir.
Fine. So, open access journals are those journals which are accessible by any of the person without paying any fees. They are not charging for accessing the papers. And most of the journal, they are open access journal. But then the question comes to us, to our mind, then how they are getting their funds. So definitely they charge the amount from the scholar who is willing to get their paper published in those type of journals. So if you have prepared your paper, you need to pay the prescribed fees to them, and at the second side, they will get your paper published, and it is easily available on the website and can be accessed by anybody. The second type of journal, again, it is very common one. There may be combination of more than two elements, and that is the double blind peer review. I am again going to cover up some portion related to double blind, but yes, a quality paper must pass through this process, that is the double blind peer review. Third type of journal, that is the impact factor based journal. Again, more weightage is been provided as compared to double blind peer review to the impact factor based journal. Impact factor is again the indication about the journal, how many of the time the journal has been accessed by the others, and again how many times your paper has been accessed by the other and is been downloaded and it has been cited by the others. The next type of journal comes upon, that is the index journal. This is what now the authorities are expecting. Your paper must get published under the Corpus, maybe Web of Science, which is of very high priority, and the level is also of very high. They are going to publish your papers only if it is having a real outcome or the beneficial to the society. The real research must be in your paper, then only they are going to accept the papers. So in that case, we need to develop the quality papers. It requires lots of patience. Only then we can approach to such type of journals. Next type of journal, that is the digital database which are not index paper. You know it that UGC have removed large number of journals in the past couple of years, but still those journals are in existence. So again, you can primarily publish your paper in such type of database, but as per the UGC norm, you will get the score of 5 points only and while getting your paper published in such type of journals. The next type, and that is the conference proceedings, which may be indexed, may be non-indexed, or very commonly, which may be in the form of book format. So these are some of the types of journals where you can get your papers published. Again, moving to the next slide, and the question comes, that is how to choose the right journals. So there are the various aspects must be considered while selecting the appropriate journal for our own work. Number one, that is the importance of journal selection. Why we need to choose the appropriate journal? Once again, the answer is same, that we want our work to be circulated amongst the user of those information. Now, suppose I have published one paper which is hardcore related to the corporate financing, which may not be found so much suitable to the scholars of the humanities or maybe to the pure sciences. May not be. I'm using this term. Similarly, any scientific paper, technical paper published by in the Journal of Science may not be having so much importance to me being a person of the management, particular in area to the finance. But yes, we can make a coordination or the combination in both of it, and that is one of the best element to be included. Then we must select the journal on the basis of the best practices, industries, and the tools been accepted. Means search for such type of journal which absorbs the data or the papers which has been well suited towards the industry. To my example, I worked upon the capital market. I am continuing with the same example, and I have just identified one journal, that is Finance India. It is a Corpus based journal, number one nowadays, and secondly, it provides the best information to the capital market. So it is providing the best information, best practices followed under the industry, and this is how this journal is helpful to me. So similarly, we need to identify such type of journals which may or your publication is helpful to the industries on getting the outcomes. By looking your publication, if the industry fits, if this feels that your paper is sound enough, it may provide you funding opportunities. So always try to locate for it. Third, evaluate general quality. There are certain criteria to be evaluated. We are going to discuss later. Then we must focus upon the readership and the target audience. Again, you are preparing paper for the students, the level will be different. If you are preparing for your peer group, again it will be different. If you are preparing a paper for the conferences, again the target audience may be different. So you need to solely focus which type of customers or sorry, which type of audiences you are focusing upon. While selecting the appropriate journal, we do need to understand the general policies. Each and every journal publication or the publishers on their website used to publish their policies. We need to thoroughly go through them, understand it, go through their terms and conditions, and if it can be fulfilled, then only you proceed for the publications. There once again, they will ask you to provide a declaration form. They will ask you to submit a plagiarism that your work is unplagiarized or it is within the limit. It will ask you to submit the work of originality. So there are certain things are to be followed. General policy will define you to have the referencing in the specific styles, and along with that, the paper, along how it will be proceeded to the various chapters or sections. Even you can go through the checklist for general selections. Once again, it is more or less related with the general policies. There you will find the various checklists provided by the publisher. Checklist on digital strategies to find the right journal for you want to get published. So there are just like there is a concept of DOI, date of insertion. It is an advanced thing, but yes, you can go through that. You can just check it out, or whatever any digital requirements are being made, please go through that before selecting or sending the paper for the publication. Now, what they will do very commonly, they will take up the copyright in their own names. Once you have submitted your paper, the copy is in the form of it is in the hands of the publisher. They have the right to modify, verify, publish, republish, or even to commercially use of those your publications. So read the terms and conditions carefully. Even you can negotiate to them, and if you do not think fit, you can refuse to send your publications to them. Otherwise, it's your work and it has been commercially utilized by those publications. And most importantly, that is the publication ethics. All norms is to be strictly followed. That are the few points which need to be considered while you are choosing the right journal. So once again, these are the quick tips for the journal selections. Make a list of the available journals to you. Again, you may found n number of journals. Out of them, you can identify 10 important journals, go with subdivisions, go with subdivisions, and see, go through their websites. Just check it out if their terms and conditions suits to you or not. Once again, if you are going with open access journals, so they used to charge amount on it, so you can negotiate with the publisher in order to get the amount reduced from it. If it suits to you, it's okay. Other than that, there are various journals which go with the free publications. Just like for finance, I quoted the name, that is Finance India. They do not charge the publication fees, but there is a huge waiting time. You need to wait for near about 1.5 years to 2 years to get the approval of your paper. So in that case, no doubt they are not charging, but at the same time, the huge time lag has been required. So it's all your choice which option you want to move upon. Then determine the impact of the journal. Impact factor is, again, I told you, is nowadays a very fancy. So considering the impact factor around somewhere around 5, maybe 4 to 6, somewhere around, it's considered satisfactory. But again, it varies. In few cases, in some science journals, the impact factor of 1.5 to 2 is considerable, very, very good. You will find a number of journals, science journals particularly, which are having the impact factor of less than 0.5, but they are considered as the good quality journal. So that is to be decided by yourself. Make sure the journal and scope policies matches your need. Check the journal requirements and distribution policy. Collect information about the journal's peer review process. Again, you can go through, is it a single peer review, double blind peer review, or any other peer review process they are following upon. And double blind peer review is considered to be more appropriate than any other type of review system. Check the instructions for authors thoroughly. One very, very important thing you must to memorize, that do not submit your article to more than one journal at a time. Wait for the acceptance or the rejection of your paper at a single time. If you have submitted the same paper to 2 different journals and it has been approved, you may be blacklisted for the near future, in the near future. So in case if you are not getting the approval from the journal you have submitted the paper, you can communicate to them. You can request for the early response. But just like I told you about Finance India, it will take near about 1.5 years, more than a year. So if you can wait for such a long time, you can wait it. A possibility, acceptance ratio is also equally important. The acceptance ratio is hardly 20%. We can't wait for a 1 year to getting approval that your paper is not been accepted due to certain reasons. Again, you need to revise, you need to resend. Again, it will be go for the review process. It will consume near about 2 years for getting a paper published. So better you decide it by yourself. But yes, please take care that don't submit a single paper to 2 different journals. And at the same time, please don't submit the papers by simply modifying the title of the paper. Okay, that all things comes under the part of the plagiarism. Now we are focusing upon selecting the appropriate journal. So what are we need to further study about the journal objectives. once again, it is the same thing that it does suits to your requirement. Is it appropriate enough to send our paper to this particular journal? You need to once again focus upon the general specific criteria, what they are expecting from us and what are our expectations to them. If both of the things equally matches, then it's advisable to go for the approach to the journal for the publication. Feel free to communicate with the editorial team of the journals. Normally, they do not provide the contact number, but yes, you can communicate through the mails. Definitely, you will get a response from that journal. Again, general objectives, submission criteria, they have their own standards of submitting. And at the second, most importantly, that is the significance of the topic. It is a requirement of journal to check upon that the particular topic submitted to this journal is suitable to you or not. Whether it is suitable to the journal or not. So general objectives, we also must consider, and at the second side, the publisher is also going to focus upon these elements. Now the question comes upon, what constitutes a good journal? Till now we have understood, we have classified the requirement as per the international journals and national journals. We have gone through what are the basic criteria required to be fulfilled for a good quality publication. Now, what does means to us, that is what is a good journal or what is a quality based journal. So for that, we can move ahead with the some of the following criteria. Just before proceeding, we need to determine the selection is based upon in the form of ISSN or ISBN, very commonly used. Again, general citation report is one of the major source. Immediacy index, impact factor, lead time, these are the few basic criteria to be discussed by selecting the appropriate journal. Now, again, we need to determine that should we go with the ISSN number or ISBN number. We are very familiar with these two terminologies, but still, I'm going to discuss a few points related to it. The ISSN is the International Standard Serial Number. It is an internationally accepted code, which is a unique of its kind and which provides a special identity to that particular journal as it is unique. So no other journal can copy this number. This code is issued by the authorities which is having their headquarters in France, that is in Paris. So it is an association, voluntary association formed and which maintain particularly the database of ISSN number throughout the world. For more detail, you can visit www.issnon.org. So out of the several digits, they have certain code systems to them that we are going to see over here. Just like first three digits include some codings related to publication type. Then they have few check digits from this value to this value. Then they have few addition, variant, and check digits which is been meant by their own resources. So this is how the ISSN number has been determined. Anyhow, now a brief data about the ISSN. This is the only agency in the world which provides and maintains the ISSN number and the data bank to them. Just go through that. Globally, they have allotted total to 22,35,000 ISSN to the various journals in the world. And see, this graph is increasing year by year. Presently, they have allotted 22,35,000 and they have received near about 60,000 applications for the new allotments. I was just going through the data and very surprisingly, for the new general applications were received largely from Africa. Few countries like Saudi Arabia and Pakistan foremost as compared to India while applying for the new ISSNs. So it is good enough. We consider them as underdeveloped countries, but really they are working hard for the publications. It improves the quality standards in the long-term duration. Now, this is where the India stands upon. Just ignore all the data above. In India, from 2013, 16,000. So presently we have near about 23,500 ISSN issued by the authorities. So near about 23,500 journals are been approved by them. This is the net data. They have included the new ones and they have excluded the journals which has been rejected. So again, a quest comes upon that which journal we need to select. Second comes upon that is the ISBN, and it is related with International Standard Book Number. As per the 2019 guidelines, they have now consist a value of 13 digits. This is how they have classified these numbers, and you can check the digit to validate the number. The headquarter of ISBN is been maintained is in UK. This is the website where you can access it. What are the basic components included in it? They have two basic prefix elements which starts with 978 or 979. This is 978 or 979. It always is 3 digits. Then there is a registration group element which has been classified on the basis of country, geographical region, language, etc. A question may rise in your mind. It's okay. Why we are going through all these details? We are none concerned about it. But yes, to the certain extent, we should be literate enough. They are having few other elements, which include 7-digit numbers. Then finally, they have the 6-digit publication element. And at the end, 1, 2, 3, they follow certain check digits. So they are check digits between 1 to 3. Now, once again, the question arises, which is superior, ISSN or ISBN? See, if your paper is of reasonable length, not specified, but maybe 3, 5, 7 pages, it is well suited to go with the ISSN, Once, if you want to get your work published in depth, so in that case, the ISBN is more suitable. It is in the book format. In case of conferences, you will usually find that publication is in the form of ISBN, booklet number. They provide an opportunity for the conference proceeding to be published in the form of book. There may be n number of papers, 70, 80, 100, 200 papers with the special issues that has been published. So in that case, ISBN has been equally important. But UGC has differentiate while assigning the weightage to the publications. They are providing more weight in terms of ISSN and lesser weight to the ISBN. A question must come to your mind that which is superior, online journal, online publication, or in the print mode. Both are equally same. As such, there is no much difference. Once we go through the print media, the circulation is limited, number 1 point. Secondly, it is very costly. So not all the universities or the institutes can afford it. Secondly, it is having the limited resources or accessibility to the readers. So to the present scenario, the online journals become more fancy. Again, it provides a better opportunity to improve your credit score. But second element, the negative factor is it will provide more about the plagiarism. it is quite easy to download the paper, modify, remodify, and to get published those data in our own name. So it includes both pros and cons, but yes, we need to move with the world. So in that case, the online publication is better of choice into the present scenario. Next comes, once we have decided ISSN or ISBN, now secondly, we need to determine that is the general research impact. That is impact factor in common sense. So how to determine? It can be determined with two elements. One is the general citation reports or through the Google Scholar matrix. You can go through the Google Scholar. You can just find about the general details, or the various general reports JCR are easily available and you can even access them. Now, what are general citation reports? General citation reports are the publication by Clairvaux, which has been, they have taken upon the Thomas Reuters, and now it has been in the form of Clairvaux, and they used to publish the reports of the various journals. So they have 23 criteria. According to that, they will analyze it, and if it is found suitable, so they are going to include those journals in their list. This is very commonly known as in the form of Web of Science. This is what UGC have recommended it. Have a homework. Go through the Web of Science and just simply identify how many Indian journals are listed under it. Point number one. Secondly, the Web of Science includes most of the journals which are related to the sciences, pure sciences. There are very few journals related to humanities, and particularly in the management and other criteria areas. So UGC expect us, yes, you should publish, but there are hardly 50 journals which are other than sciences, and it is a difficult task to get the work published. And second important thing, most of the journals, they are listed, they are the foreign listed journals, and there is a huge difference in the cost of it. It is normal. If you move with a impact factor based journal in India, non-UGC approved, you can get your paper published somewhere around 1500 to 2500 rupees. But if you want to go with a UGC CARE listed journal, it will cost somewhere around 6,000 to 10,000 and maybe much more. But accordingly, Web of Science, if you need to move ahead, you need to pay that amount in dollars or any other foreign currency, which may cost near about 25,000 rupees to N limit, infinite. So it is very costly affair. So this is also the one of the restricted area. Financial factor is very, very involved. In that case, we can approach to the management to provide the fundings. Yes, in government institutes, if the paper is quality enough, so they can provide the funds. Secondly, it can be managed once you are having more than single author. There may be 2, 3 authors, so they can share that cost. Anyhow, so I was talking about the general citation reports. It provides the information about the academic journals in the natural sciences, social sciences, which includes the impact factor. So, very, very commonly, you have decided is ISSN, okay, fine. Just search for the general reports if which journal is well suited to you. Now, general citation reports needs to be accessed. What they focus upon? The objectivity of the JCR, provide unbiased information which has been tested by 9,000 institute worldwide sources by the Web of Science. This all contents as taken up from the site of JCR, that is Web of Sciences. They have a rigorous process. I told you there are 23 standards they used to follow, and accordingly they will approve the journal. So definitely It's a prestigious point to get a paper published in such type of approved journals. They maintain the quality control. Web of Science is a registered trademark. It monitors and excludes journals that demonstrate predatory behavior. The journal keeps on getting in and out. If they are not following their norms, they will definitely move the journals out from it. So it's not so easy to get a paper published in such type of quality journals. But through our learnings and practice, we develop ourselves to move towards such type of journals. May not be today, maybe tomorrow, maybe after 6 months, 1 year, we will be capable enough, and we should be capable enough to get paper published in such type of journals. Then the JCR reports follow the certain transparency. It provides the confidence level amongst the users and the publishers. One good thing that it is an open access journal. Open access journal is, once again, the journals charge the publication fees to us, but it is easily accessible by the learners. These are some of the broad categories or criteria they used to consider. The first one is the impact factor. I'm not going for the formulation of impact factor. It is based upon the performance of the past few publication. And I told you that the 5 impact factor may be good enough for any management journal. 1.5 to 2 impact factor may be good for science journal. Just you can go through this example. The Nature is the journal which is having the impact factor of 41.577 as per 2017. We need to upgrade the information. So see, 41.5 is a very, very high impact factor. But yes, the journal is prestigious enough. It is very highly cited by the science community. So they are having a good impact factor, very high impact factor. So you can determine you can go through the impact factor, which is the one of the prime criteria for the scholars like us, where we want to go for the publication. What are the other criteria to be considered while selecting the journal? So besides the listing, that is the JCR and impact factor, the other factors to be considered, and that is the Immediacy Index. It is the average number of times an article is cited in a year it is published. If you got your paper published in 2021, so this Immediacy Index indicates that how many times this paper was been circulated in the previous year, 2021. And this index is it provides a better opportunity as compared to the impact factor. Next one is the agent factor. It is based upon the number of times articles from the journal published in the past 5 years has been cited through the journal citation reports. But besides that, it also calculates this type of publications which are been highly cited journals. Means you have published your paper. It was been one of the publication related to Web of Science, and your publication is been cited by few large impact factor based journals. So that contribution has been calculated with the help of the agent factor. Next element to be considered, and that is the article influence score. The score is the measuring the influence of article over the past 5 years publication, and it is nothing. It is simply an improvement over the agent factor by which they apply this score of 0.01, and by formulating by dividing the number of articles in the journals. So don't need to worry upon. These are all technical jargons. If we are satisfied with the impact factor, it's good enough in the initial stage, and at the later stage we can move to the other elements. Next slide. So again, we have determined the quality journal, which one we need to go upon. Besides that, we need to consider few more elements while you are going for the publication. And once again, the audience, what is your target audience? the requirement of the students will be different. Your peer group will be different. Your colleagues may be different. If you are presenting your paper in any international conference will be different. If you are presenting your work to the industries, it will be different. To the government, again, it will be different. So while preparing the paper, you need to focus for whom we are going to prepare this paper. If your paper is in general format, you think that it is suitable for all type of audiences, in that case, you definitely move towards the multidisciplinary journals. But let me tell you, just you go through, you by yourself and see that you have got published n number of papers earlier. How many times you yourself has gone through those papers? Point number one. The answer may be one or may not be even that. We have published, okay, fine. We have included in our API and just we have forget about it. Second thing, being a teacher, there should always be a thrust for the improvement. Whenever you open your paper, there your mind must click you, okay, there is certain chances of improvement in this paper, or we would have improved earlier while publishing these papers. Quality indicator, second is the peer review, third is the general indexing, fourth circulation count, acceptance rate, editorial board, and other resources. So let us move one by one. So already discussed for which type of audiences you are focusing upon, accordingly you need to prepare the paper. Next comes the peer review. Now commonly two elements are being taking care. It should be double blind peer reviewed with a high impact factor journal, approved by the UGC or any other authority is been expected. These are the norms which has been prescribed by them. High quality publication. I'm just reading out one of the norms prescribed by the AICT in their gazette. For the post of professor, at least 6 research publication at the level of associate professor in SCI journals. This is what we have discussed in general research review, or UGC or AICT approved list of journals is been highly desirable. This is the as per 2019 revised guidelines. So they keep on updating. So you must know what is the exact requirement. The peer review means your paper is been sent to few experts in this area. They will go through your paper, they will put a comment over them, and on that their recommendation, your paper may be accepted, may be sent for the review, means revision, or may be rejected or not approved, better word. It is of 3 types. One is the open peer review, in which the the author and the reviewer, they both knows each other very well. So there is a chance of high biasness amongst them. As they both knows each other, so there may be certain criteria which may not be followed upon. Second is the single blind peer review, in which the author doesn't know to whom this paper has been sent, but the reviewer know from who this paper has been received. Those who have attended my previous workshop, that is the first workshop in this series, I talked. They commonly prefer to go with the double blind peer review. And under double blind peer review, the author and the reviewer, they don't know about each other. The affiliations which you have mentioned in the abstract, that is your name, your organization where you are associated with, this all are been removed. And then the paper is been sent for the review. And this is the one of the best option. So that is why the double blind peer review is to be considered as a better option. Next comes upon, that is the indexing of the journals, journal indexing. Please allow me 2 minutes break. I'm just getting a glass of water for myself. So there are various associations which provides the indexing to the various journals. Again, it is a prestigious point if your paper has been indexed through that journal. Means journal if is indexed type for publications or the list in the list, then it becomes more prestigious for you. So that becomes the general indexing. These are the very few names you might be familiar with, like SSRN is there, Index Corporations is there, Google is general, Google indexing has been there, ResearchGate is there. So it provides a better opportunities to locate or the search of the paper of your choice. Again, it is open access, so you can easily go through those indexes. Some journals which are like the MLA, SSRN, APA provide circulation data for journals. So more or less, these journals are associated with the journal citation reports. And secondly, whenever you go through the website of the journal, they will provide you the details on which type of indexes they are listed with. The next element, that is the circulation count. Definitely the journal which is having the large number of circulation, large circulation, the more and more approach or you are more approachable to your work. Means more number of audiences can go through your work. So circulation count can be get through the website. If they published, you can request for it, or you can go through the various reports through which it has been normally been published. So circulation count can be also one of the measure through which we can determine the indexing. I was just quoting you the example of Finance India. Once again, you can see now presently this Finance India is the prestigious Journal of Finance in India, headquartered in Delhi. And Dr. Aman Agrawal is the CEO of this group. And this number has been having the 4th position among 25,000 journals in 2021. 3rd position amongst 21,000 in 2018. It is having of international review with having the index that is the impact factor of 8.257 and so on. So getting a paper published in such type of journals is definitely a prestigious point for us also. The next element is regarding the acceptance rate. I told you Finance India is having the rejection rate of 80%. Means acceptance rate of 20%. You need to think upon, analyze yourself. Do you think that your paper is good enough, quality wise good enough, and it is going to fulfill the norms, expected norms of those journals? Then yes, proceed to go ahead. If you think that acceptance rate is very, very low, again analyze yourself, or is better to move with some another type of journals. Take an example. As per the Thomas Rutter, the acceptance rate was only 4,000 papers. That was the 37%. The another is cross-disciplinary journal, Stephens 2012. In 2012, the acceptance rate was only 19%. So you can just see what is the rate of acceptance. Only 19%. Does our paper fits enough to get published over here? it's okay. Otherwise, move with another journal, improve the paper as per the requirement. Definitely in the future, we may get a paper published. Next element to decide the quality journal, and that is the team of editorials, means editorial board. Again, the prestigious people in the board provides the more meaningful outlook to you. It will provide a more meaningful outcome to us. So please go through the members, board members. This is an example. Just like for Indian Journal of Research Foundation, these are the only 3 names I have included. It consists of board with a large number of editorial members. Here the person is from Department of Material Science, Singapore, international fame, scientist from Vikram Veera Sarabhai Space Center, Department of Mathematics, Indian Institute of Tropical Meteorology, and so on. So the editorial board is equally important for your work. You may have the different other sources for your publication, just like the general / author's name estimator. You can search about the journal and estimators. They are the softwares which are easily available and accessible through Google. You can go through that. Read the general guide for getting your paper published. Go with the general reviewer. They are the few academic agencies which provide review to your work, and they may suggest you. But definitely, yes, the plagiarism content, your copyright information is equally important. So, while accessing all this information, at least we are now in a position to determine which type of publication we should go upon. This is what the Scopus expect from us. These are the steps involved in publishing your papers in the Corpus Index Journal, which is the part of the Web of Science. So what steps you should go upon? Like discover the Corpus Index Journal, go to the website. This is the website of Scopus. Identify the best journal as per your requirement. Compose research paper as per the guidelines of the journal. Submit your paper, that is the outline, to them for the approval. Notification of acceptance from the publisher, wait for it, communicate them if it is required, transfer the copyrights as it has been required by demanded by them, and then finally you will receive the confirmation of your paper get published. So here what we have gone through, that if we need to go with a publication, we have decided either through general citation reports or through Google Scholar matrices or reports. Now at the second time, once again, if you want to go through your own impact factor, that is the author's research impact factor, yes, it is possible. There are 3 types of indices available regarding the authors. You can identify your own values on the basis of H index, I10 index, and G index. Okay, let us move ahead. What is H index? It is the research matrix which provides the productivity and the impact of the author. It has been calculated on the basis of number of papers got published and number of citations of those papers was been identified. Just like for an example, the 35 papers of an author have been cited by 35 times. So it is having a huge impact. H index is very, very high for it. You can easily access H index by going through the site. Search Google. Take the help, identify how to create the H index, and on the basis of your papers earlier published, it is automatically going to calculate the H index for it. It is a source index in Web of Science. So some of the times it may not be so lucrative or suitable for a normal publisher, for the scholar to get the index from it. But don't worry. But yes, when you go for the university-based recruitment, they will ask you about the H index. So try to locate what is your H index, and this can be easily calculated with the help of Web of Science and Google Scholar. So H index is the one of the way. extended part to the H index is in the form of G index. It is the given set of articles ranked in the decreasing order of the number of citations has been received. Okay. So it ranks your citations in the reverse order, calculating in the decreasing order. And according to that, they used to calculate the G index. But G index is not so lucrative into the present scenario. The H index is still highly popular, and you can move with the H index rather than the G index. Third one, very commonly used, easily accessible, and that is the I10 Index, which has been popularized by Google Scholar. So go to Google Scholar, register yourself. Your earlier citations will automatically be picked by the Google Scholar, and you can check your score over here. The number of publications with at least 10 citations, it will include only under I10 when at least there is 10 citations and more than that. It is very simple and straightforward to calculate as compared to G index and H index, and it is very easily and freely accessible. But only limitation that I10 index has been accessed and maintained by the Google Scholar only. This is the link. Presently, I'm not going through it. So you can go to the Google Scholar site, go to my registered USL, go to my citations, and you can access the information. This is an example of Google Index. Charles Robert Darwin is nothing a new name to us. You can see the data 77,500. It is the old data. In fact, this figure might have increased considerably. As per the data, since 2008, 28,000 approx citations has been received. H index earlier overall is 80, and since 2008 is 49, and I10 index is 331 and 159. You can see the accessibility of his work. Now, he's a scientist. He's a famous scientist. So definitely the index level it will be very, very high. Such type of reports can easily be accessed through any type of citations. This is my example, ssrn.com. It is one of the very good source of data about the publications. It maintains database of more than 2 lakh papers. Now, you can see this is my present rank as per today's data. My present position is 7,822 out of 6,70,000 scholars registered to the website. This is their own data. Just like Google Scholar, SSRN is also maintaining their data. Whatever number of papers I have cited at this website, there were total 7,800 downloads, 10 were cited, and cross-reference with it has been cited to other journals also. So this is how you can just check out your own indexing. So this is about your indexing. For the long term, you should always try to focus upon. The next element, which we have discussed and which has been mandated by the authorities, and that is as per the AICT or the UGC guidelines, we need to get our paper published. It is very highly recommended that research papers must be published in the peer-reviewed or UGC listed journals. Presently, they used to talk about only the UGC CARE journal, maybe Group A or maybe Group B, and this will be used for calculating the overall score. This is the, as per 2018 guidelines, this is the score of 70 required for assistant professors, including all these three elements. That is the paper published in conferences, seminars, presented. There are different scores for it, and it has been published in the listed journals. Minimum score required for the entry level of associate professor is 75, and for the professor and principal is 120. As per UGC guidelines, this is the minimum score required. Otherwise, in the initial stage only, the person application will be disqualified. How to score as per the UGC guidelines? So these are the guidelines provided. You can download the API format from the UGC website, and these are the elementary points they have cited. These are the scores you are going to get. I told you, if your paper is considered without impact factor, you will have the base of 5 points. If impact factor lies between, sorry, with less than 1, it is of 10 points. If it is between 1 and 2, it is of 15 points. If impact factor is between 2 and 5, it is 20 points. Single author I am talking. And if it is between 5 and 10, then 25, and above 10, it is 30 points. Then there are other considerable factors to be focused upon in terms of joint authors and more than 2 authors. The different guidelines and scores have been provided for it. This is the earlier classification. There were 4 groups, A, B, C, D, and now they are classified into the 2 broad categories. And this is as per the 14/6/2019. Again, you can access the UGC website. The list of approved journals are published on it. Group A journals are those journals which are being determined by the protocols of the UGC, and the University of Pune has been authorized to decide for the Group A journals. They all contain the high quality research factors, high quality work, and they are having a good impact factor along with that. Secondly, this is meant for other than the UGC norms, but they are to be listed in form of Group 2, that is in either in the Web of Science or in the Scopus. Web of Science has further classified as Arts and Humanities Citation Index, Science Citation Index, and Social Science Citation Index. Accordingly, you need to locate which type of journal is suitable to you, identify those journals, communicate with those journals, and try to submit the papers as per their norms. This is a list available, but okay, fine, you can search it from the website directly. Coming to the concluding part of our work, see, we have decided which type of journal, we have identified the journal, we have identified their norms, we have identified their indexing, we have identified our own indexing, and the next level comes upon that why papers are rejected. We are confident enough. We have done a good work. We have generated the plagiarized report and it is under less than 10%. You can join my next workshop, which is highly related with defining the literature review. And I told you that the maximum plagiarism comes from the literature. So again, writing a literature is an art more than a science. So why papers are rejected? There are the 3 reasons where the paper may be rejected. Number 1, that is the rejection before review. The publisher, they have rejected your paper on the basis of certain grounds. Your paper may be rejected after the review process has been made. They will provide you the reasons behind it. And if it is not been so, you can ask, you can request for it. And there will be many other reasons your papers found to be rejected. What are the reasons of rejections before review? Number 1, paper doesn't fit to the general expectation. They have their own standards. They have their own norms. If I want to get my paper published in the Journal of Finance, which is having the global ranking of 1, it is a USA-based journal. So my paper must come with a real outcome. I must develop some realistic model. Then only my paper is going to be approved by them. Harvard Business Review, if something really good I have done in terms of management, in management area, then only they are going to accept my paper. Otherwise, it is nothing like that. A conceptual paper does not find their place in such type of journals. So again, go thoroughly the requirements of the website, access, analyze yourself, and then submit your paper. No new contribution has been noticed. It may be the extension of some work which has been contributed by some another author. They may reject the paper. It does not meet the ethical standards. Go through the websites. Nowadays, I told you that they are very, very concerned about the ethical norms. And if it is not fulfilled, they are initially going to reject the paper. The quality of paper is very poorly written. Flow of work, languages, words, quality contents, this all are equally important. If it is not up to the standard, they will reject your work. So in that case, you can take the help of the various free softwares and tools available. You can go through, you can put your paper over there, check their grammatical errors, resentencing and all other things, citations, all these are easily available. And you can just go through that. Proofreading is also done by the softwares. Use it. There is nothing wrong in it. This will improve your work. The paper is not prepared as per the general guidelines. They have not followed the norms. The lack of quality contents, we are unable to maintain the level of quality which was been expected by them. Again, your paper found to be plagiarized as per their norms. The normal range is bit less than 10%. For few high quality journals, it may be 5%. They will run their own software. And accordingly, you need to maintain that level. The quality of literature review is not good enough. It is simply copied and paste material. Copy paste itself is nothing. Whatever you have included in the review does not match as per the objective or the title of the paper. This may be also the one of the reason for the rejection. And your methodological problems and formulations are not clearly defined. Methodology is not clear. You have written something, you have followed some other norms, and it is presented in some another mode. It all mismatches. So in that case also, the paper may be rejected. Before review, they have rejected. Now, once it has been sent for the review to the review committee, and again, if it is written, there may be few reasons. Again, no real outcome from the study. Your paper is not found to be fulfill the norms of the committee. It may be the reason. Again, don't hesitate. Either you can revise your paper or submit, or you can just rework upon and try to submit to some another journal which can fulfill your criteria for which you have written the paper. Linguistic problem. Paper is written in somewhat language which is ununderstandable, maybe by the peer review. This may be the one of the problem. They have sent a paper written in Hindi to those people who doesn't know Hindi. Or one of the participants in today's session is from Russia. I welcome them. Him or her. Sorry, I had gone through the name. So any paper written in Russian language and it has been sent to us where we are not acquainted with this language, again, it may be the problem. There are software conversion tools that is like Google translations can be used, but the quality of that is not equally as per standards. We have tried it number of times from English to Hindi or Hindi to English, but you can see the sentence formation is not as per the requirement. So linguistic problem may be there. Weak analysis and interpretation has been found in our work. Originality of work is not been found. Duplicacy has been found with others' work, the same thing. And the author has not followed the publication guidelines. There may be different other reasons for the rejection of the paper. Again, they have crossed the journal's limit. They are specified. Your paper should not be more than 5 pages. But if it is a PhD work, you want to share your work in the form of publication. Due to the limitation, you cannot get your work published. So don't worry. If they are not accepting, you send to some another journal which provides a better space to you. Again, the print publication is having the limitation. There are certain ways through which you can reduce it. Just like you have included 7 or 8 tables in your results. What you can do, once it has been written for the revision, you can remove 5-6 tables which is not so very important, include only the main table which provides the main results to your work. This is how you can do. You can reduce the literature review, you can cut short the introduction, but it should not eliminate the importance of the title in that. Lack of sequencing, no proper or no adequate flow is given there. Then selection of inappropriate journals. Some of the times we ourselves commit the mistake due to lack of knowledge and all that. We have not followed the proper reasons to go with that. So these are the few resources, and I'm just let us before ending of the session, I'm again sharing a feedback form to all of you. Please allow me 1 minute to rejoin with this presentation. One minute, please. There is some error coming up on. Please allow me 1 minute. 1 moment, please. This is feedback. In the meantime, just let me go through the scores you have submitted. Okay, I will share you the screen. Can you see the result sheet on the screen?
No, sir.
Okay. Let me reshare then. This is the survey result. Can you see the survey 2 on your screen?
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine.
Yes, sir.
The outcome for the survey 2, out of 14 respondents regarding the national journals, 36% of the authors are interested to get the paper published, and very good, near about 64% of the respondents want to get their paper published in the international journals. I hope that by going through that, it makes you more clear that if you want to go with the international publications, what are the norms we should strictly follow upon, and only in that case we can get a paper published in such type of journals. Let me go through the result for the survey 1. Out of the total 11 responses, 64% approx strongly agrees that they want to get their paper for the academic requirement. My vote will also go in that purpose. Definitely, first preference is due to the academic requirements. It's good. 9% of the respondents agrees that they used to prepare the paper. One person is there. They used to write the paper for pleasure. It's really good, wonderful. And 27% does agree that the paper is to be it is prepared due to the mandates of the UGC and AICT committees and reports. Okay, so this is the real outcome of the of your survey. Let me move back to my presentation. I hope you have submitted the next the survey form.
Yes, sir.
Fine.
Sir, not received the form link.
I just send it in the chat box.
I left, so I didn't get.
No problem. You can submit later on. I will request the committee members to share it to you. later after the after this workshop.
Thank you, sir.
So this is from my side. The session is open for the question. I will share you my
Sir, may
contact
I?
details and this is my contact email ID. In case of further queries and other than that, you can always contact to me through the email. So the session is open for everybody. You can come up with your queries now.
Sir, may I?
Yes, ma'am. You are welcome.
Sir, good evening.
Good evening, ma'am.
Sir, I'm Nazia. Sir, I have questions sir, how we can find out the journals which are free? So, sir, please guide.
See, all quality journals, standard journals, they will not charge from you. Okay, just like quoted the example of France India. It is a free journals. So again, you just go through your particular domain, just search for, you can access this like Web of Science, Scopus, locate for it, identify few journals and go through their general policies. Few journals, you will find they will not disclose the amount to be charged. If it is not shown on the website, you can directly communicate to them. You can request to have the amount to be charged upon it. If they will give you, if they provide you the figures, you can exclude those journals. Otherwise, very commonly open access journals are chargeable for the authors. Okay? So again, you need to spare some time about it, and you can identify the journals. At present, I am not having such list in my hand. That would I cannot share it to you. Another thing you can do, ma'am, that you can either go through UGC CARE list. Again, identify the journals of your own choice. Most of the journals are non-paid journals.
Okay, sir. I will search. Thank you, sir. Yes, sir, one more question I have. Yes, sir, suppose we will publish our paper in the journal where they are asking, they are asking for money, but they are not in the UGC CARE list. So, we have like so it will be important for us or not?
See, as per the earlier norms, it has been recommended that it should be either published in UGC CARE list AICT or double blind peer review journal. But as per 2019 norms, if you are moving particular to the central universities and universities, nowadays they ask for the UGC CARE list published journals only. So it is a continuous assessment. We need to update ourselves. It is advisable and better if you go through the UGC CARE based publication rather than just going for the double blind peer review high impact factors based journals. Second thing, if you want to improve your API, you go with the impact factor based journals. Parallelly, you need to move ahead with the UGC CARE list based journals also.
Okay, sir. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you.
Tomorrow may some new norms may come upon. Again, they will ask to upgrade with some another thing. So it is never ending process.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Yes.
Any other query for other students, other participants?
Okay, fine. So we can conclude now.
Good evening, sir. सर आपने अभी बताया था अपनी प्रेजेंटेशन के थ्रू कि 100 में से ओनली 20% ही सेलेक्ट होते हैं, तो सर वो जो रिजेक्शन होता है 80%, आपने उसके रीजंस भी बताए. वन ऑफ द मोस्ट इम्पोर्टेंट रीजन जो है सर वो अच्छी लैंग्वेज, मतलब जो भी हम यूज कर रहे हैं वो अप टू द मार्क नहीं यूज कर रहे हैं, तो सर उसको इम्प्रूव करने के लिए हम क्या क्या कर सकते हैं?
You can use the software, just I told you. जैसे मैं आपको बताऊं, the major reason behind the rejection is the lack of methodology, adequate methodology. Because the good publications, they want a quality-based work. It comes from your methodology and reflects into your results. But your linguistic problem has been there. So definitely you can use the softwares. Like Grammarly, I talked. Grammarly is one of the very good software. It's freely available. You can upload in your MS Word. You can use it, will improve a lot. Other than that, you can use some paid websites. They will help you to improve your content. Besides that, there are certain professionals. They will charge a fees for it, but I am not assured that your data will be protected by them or not. I'm having a second thought that it might be misused and your data may be shared with someone else and they can earn a money from it. So it's better. And other than that, in case, if possible, you can just take the help of your peer group. Like if you're preparing the paper in a language in English, like, or maybe in Hindi, you can take the help of the experts, your colleagues. It will help you to improve a lot.
Yes.
Otherwise, very n number of free softwares are easily available. No issues.
Okay, sir. सर वन मोर क्वेश्चन सर, जैसे आपने बताया पब्लिश तो करना ही है, तो सर इज देयर एनी लिमिटेशन कि हमें 1 ईयर में कितने अपना जर्नल पब्लिश करना है, या फिर हम एन नंबर ऑफ पब्लिश कर सकते हैं?
Now, don't count your publication in terms of numbers, count only in terms of quality.
Okay.
Within past 2 years, that is 20 April 2020 to December 2021, I have not published a single paper.
Oh.
See, I'm not working on quantity. I'm working on a quality. It is requirement of UGC CARE. But the level of paper should be good enough so that it will be accepted there. So yes, maybe in the initial stage of your career for advancement, you may go ahead with few number of papers, and the best thing that you can go with the joint publication. But once you establish yourself, maybe within a year or 2 or 3, at the same time or later, go with the quality publications, because ultimately to face the code 28, 29 interviews, you need to have the UGC CARE based publications only. Rest of the papers, the committee may reject it. They will not count it.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
I think it's over, sir.
Yeah, ma'am.
Okay, thank you so much, sir. आपने सर इतने अच्छे से स्टूडेंट्स को इतने अच्छे से उनका प्रॉब्लम सॉल्व किया है, आई थिंक इतने अच्छे से कोई और इसे समझा ही नहीं सकता, जिसको बोलते हैं कि गागर में सागर भरना। सर इतने टिपिकल पॉइंट को इतने फ्लेक्सिबल तरीके से समझाना, रियली आज के पार्टिसिपेंट्स के लिए ये बहुत ही फ्रूटफुल रहा है सेशन। सर थैंक यू सो मच, आपने इतना प्रीशियस टाइम अपना हमारे पार्टिसिपेंट्स को दिया। थैंक्स अ लॉट।
Ma'am, this Rakesh Joshi Saab is raising an hand. I think he want to ask something.
Yes.
Can we take a question?
Yes, Rakesh sir, please speak.
Rakesh, yes, sir. Anyhow, there be some communication problem. Okay, anyhow. Rakesh sir, you can put your query in the RFI WhatsApp group. So I will try to solve over there. So thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much.
Being here, I request all the participants to get in level 3 of the workshop, and that is how to develop a literature review. What are the basic problems we are facing at the time of developing the review from my side.
Once again, thank you so much, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks to you.
Thank you so much.
Shall I put off the meeting?
Yes, sir.
Okay.